Imagine diving into a horror thriller where the camera never strays from a single actress's face, leaving the rest of the cast shrouded in mystery and anonymity. It's a bold gamble that could redefine suspense on screen, but does it deliver chills or just leave viewers scratching their heads? Let's unpack this cinematic experiment and hear from the star herself, Olga Kurylenko, in her chat about Shudder's latest release, Other. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this innovative storytelling or just a flashy gimmick that sacrifices depth for shock value? Following the release of last year's Mads, I found myself eagerly anticipating what director David Moreau would conjure up next. His previous work stood out with a vision so distinctive that even if it wasn't my absolute favorite, you can read my full thoughts on it here. https://review. Its originality piqued my curiosity immensely. Moreau seems to be doubling down on unconventional techniques, and in Other, he zeroes in almost exclusively on Olga Kurylenko, keeping other characters' faces completely off-screen for the entire film. This isn't a common tactic in horror movies, where ensemble casts or jump scares often steal the spotlight. Instead, it forces the audience to rely heavily on Kurylenko's expressions, voice, and presence to carry the tension. And this is the part most people miss. Such a singular focus can amplify emotional intensity, making every flicker of fear on her face feel deeply personal and immersive. Sure, the film isn't flawless. It has its standout moments, though, that make it worth watching. Catch my detailed review right here. https://www.joblo.com, Other 2025. In our conversation, Olga opened up about her deep connection to the protagonist, a model navigating a nightmarish scenario. Drawing from her own experiences as a young model early in her career, she shared how the character's journey resonated with her, especially since Olga's own path was supported by a loving mother who provided a stark contrast to the film's darker family dynamics. It's fascinating how personal anecdotes like this can enrich an actor's performance, turning a role into something authentically layered. She also recounted a compelling scene that ultimately got trimmed from the final cut, a moment that could have added even more intrigue and emotional weight. I was genuinely sorry it didn't make it in, as it sounded like the kind of twist that horror fans crave. Olga proved to be utterly delightful and approachable during our talk, her warmth shining through, and you can watch the full interview in the embedded video above for yourself. For those new to the genre or curious about plot spoilers without giving too much away, here's a gentle rundown. The story follows Alice as she revisits her childhood home following her mother's passing. But what she discovers is far from a comforting nostalgia trip. The house is wired with constant surveillance that tracks her every movement, while an ominous, unseen force begins to manipulate her reality, pushing her toward a horrifying discovery. It's a setup perfect for building paranoia, especially with that single-face gimmick, amplifying the isolation and dread. Other is now available to stream on Shudder, so if you're a fan of psychological horror with a fresh spin, give it a try. As for me, I'm a critic with a passion for storytelling across genres. My top picks include classics like Seven, Halloween, and Scream. But I also love diving into quirky fare such as A Nightmare on Elm Street, Back to the Future, Battle Royale, Jaws, The Social Network, Friday the 13th, American Movie, anything by Tarantino, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Evil Dead, The Batman, The Shining, No Country for Old Men, T2, Boyhood, Ed Wood, Jurassic Park, and Wild at Heart. Outside of movies, I'm all about horror flicks, writing, playing guitar, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, those gloriously bad movies that are so bad, they're good. Video games, Spider-Man, whiskey, professional wrestling, hockey, football, Star Wars, plotting world domination, Jeopardy, and embracing silence. What about you? Do you think a horror film like Other succeeds by limiting the visuals to one face? Or does it risk alienating viewers who rely on broader action and scares? Could this approach be the future of indie horror, or is it better as a one-off experiment? I'd love to hear your opinions. Agree, disagree, or share your own horror movie debates in the comments below.